Whether you'd like to have a sound in your song slowly pan across the stereo field, or have an effect go into bypass for a particular section of your song, or simply add a fade out on the master channel at the end of your song, automation can help us achieve all of these things, and that's what we're going to take a look at in this video. So to begin, we're going to take a look at several different ways we can go about adding and accessing our automation, and then we'll take a look at a couple of different practical examples of using automation within a session. Also, if you'd like to work with me directly over Zoom to speed up your learning curve with Studio Pro or learning mixing in Studio Pro, check out the pinned comment below or the description area of this video. So let's go ahead and come over to the browser and bring in an audio file. So I'm just going to come to the loop section. We'll left click, hold, and drag that in. And then I'm also going to come to the instruments tab. Let's bring in an instrument just so that we've got a couple of things going on here and we've got something to work with. We'll go ahead and close out our browser as well as this instrument. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Now, the first thing I'd like to mention is that for our audio track, so we've got an audio track up top, and then here we have our instrument track. We can tell by the little icons up in the top right corner in our track headers. Now, specifically for our audio tracks, automation is already set up, at least for volume and panning. So if we come to the bottom left corner of this track header, I can click on this little button here and expand out to see that we have volume and pan lanes set up here, ready to go. So if I'd like to add some automation to the panning, right now we're on center and we can see where it's located at right now. I can just come to this lane, left click once, and then add these points in. Then I can come to any of these points, left click, hold, drag up or down. Coming further out, I'll add another point. We can then also move these, and if you notice that's kind of jumping or snapping. When we're adding points and working with automation, snapping and the quantized value that it's set to is going to make a difference. So let's just change this from 16th notes to quarter notes, and then now when I move this automation point left or right, we can see that that's snapping to the new quarter note subdivision. Now if I'd like to add points freely, we can come up here and turn the snap off. Now when I add the points, I can be as precise as I'd like to be. If you'd like to remove a point, you can just double click on it like so. If you'd like to remove a group of points, I can come to an empty area, left click, hold, and drag. We can see that frame there. Now all three of these are selected. I can then press the delete key on my QWERTY keyboard. But let's bring those back. And if we go ahead and play back, we'll then hear our automation on the panning. Now, if we were to come to between these points, we can see that a little circle here, a point pops up, and then we can actually add curves here to our automation if we'd like. Now let's go ahead and collapse these automation lanes. And I also want to take a moment to mention the automation view within our track column here. This is something that gets some of my students into trouble. And if we press A on our QWERTY keyboard, we'll notice that these track headers then change to an automation view. So we can actually view our automation here on the track without needing to expand out as we've just seen. So if we come to our audio track, well, let's be sure that we're in the automation view. Where is the panning automation that we just added? Well, we have this drop-down menu here. We can see that that says display off. So the display is currently set off for the track. We can click on that drop-down menu. Then here we have our volume and panning because those are the two that are already set up for us by default. Let's select the panning, and then we can see the panning automation that I added a moment ago. And then of course we can come in here and make adjustments to the points and add new points until our heart's content. Now coming back to the drop-down menu, this is also where we can go about adding new parameters to automate. So let's go ahead and click on the add remove here. We then have a floating window that pops up, and you can see that we've got the volume and panning because those are already added. And then if I come over to the right hand side, we only have mute available to add at the moment. So let's go ahead and close this out. Come down to the inspector, we'll click on the eye in the bottom left corner. Now within our insert section, let's click on the plus. I'm just going to add an analog delay. Let's type in, now that's highlighted, I'll press enter. This is now added to our track. We'll go ahead and close it out for now. But when we come up to the drop-down menu once more, click on Add and Remove, now you can see that we have inserts that is available. So I can expand that out and we can access the parameters for the delay. So I'm actually going to choose the mix and I can just double click on that. That's now populated on the left-hand side. And we can see, let's pull this down a little bit, on our track, mix has now been added and available for us to automate. Let's go ahead and close this out. Now I'm going to press A to exit out of the automation view. We'll come back to the regular view just to show that we can also come down to the bottom button here if we'd like to see all three of the automation lanes in relation to one another. We've got our mix down below that we just recently added. We can adjust the size of these. We can power these lanes on and off, so if we'd like to temporarily turn off automation to see what it sounds like without it, we can do that very easily. Now, if you take note of our new mix lane here, the auto is turned to off, but as soon as you click once to add a point, then we can see that this automatically enters into read mode to read the inputted automation points. Now, let's go ahead and open up our delay. We'll pull this over a little bit and let's play back and just take note of our automation, which is here. Let's make this a little bit more extreme. And this is on our mix, which is here for the dry wet blend. We'll go ahead and play back and we can notice that moving there. Now let's go ahead and make these lanes a little bit smaller here. We could actually just select them all and use Shift and E, but we'll just manually drag those. Now, a simpler way to add new parameters for automation would be we can just right click on a particular parameter. Let's say the feedback, I'll right click on that. Then we have edit automation, feedback. I'll go ahead and click once. And then now we can see that that lane has been added to our track and ready to go. I can also click once on a parameter. So we'll come to the time. And if you take notice in the top left corner, this says pan LR, but once I click once on this, it updates to change to delay in beats, which is what this parameter is. I can then click on the A, and then we add a lane for it. Now the last way that I'll show is we can click on a parameter. See in the top left, this is still on delay beats, but I can click on the speed, and then I can press Alt and A, and then that will add a lane for us, as you can see here. So the parameter that's going to be displayed or updated here is going to be whatever we click on is going to be populated up at the top. But I just want to quickly mention that we do have this downward facing arrow. So if we change this to mouse over, then whatever we hover on will be populated in that field. And then we can press Alt A, for instance, to quickly add parameters to our track. Now let's close out our analog delay and we'll select the bottom lane here. I'm going to hold Shift, select all three of these. Let's right click and we'll just remove the delay beats. I guess we can only do this one at a time. And we'll take out the feedback and let's hop over to the instrument track. Now this is going to be the exact same. So if we would like to add the different parameters to this, then we cannot come here. There's no automation set up for our instruments tracks. I can click on the same button, but nothing happens. But if I press A, we can switch over to the automation view. The display is off for our instrument track. But again, we can click on that drop-down menu, click on the add and remove, and then find the particular parameter that we'd like from the instrument that is on this device, which is our MyTie. So for instance, I can come to this filter folder, and then we can see our cutoff here, double click, and then that's now been populated and ready to go for automation. Let's close out and let's open up our instrument by clicking on the keyboard icon here, just to show that we also have the ability to click once on, say, the resonance here, and then that's going to be populated up above. Now we're on the hover over the items, and that's why things are changing here. So I'm going to click on the downward facing arrow and take that mouse over off. Now when I click on the resonance, that's going to stay populated there. I can then click on the A to have that populated, or I can also right click on a parameter, and as we've already seen, click on the edit automation for our drive, and then that is now populated here. Let's close out our MyTie, and then if we come to the drop-down menu, we can then of course choose if we'd like to work with our cutoff or whether we'd like to work with our resonance. We can also press A again to exit out of the automation view, and as you can imagine, let's actually zoom out just a bit here. Now, once I've added several parameters, if I come to the bottom left button and click on that, then we expand out to see all of the parameters that have been added, and we can work on them again in relation to one another if we'd like. Now, if I were to go ahead and open up the MyTie, then let's move our playback to here. We can see our cutoff actually has a dot here letting us know that this parameter has automation that's been added. And if you can see it, this is actually green, and that's because it's taking on the color of the mode that this is in. I can come to this instrument and change the type of mode that we're using for the automation there. But if I were to go ahead and play back, then we can see the automation working as expected. Now, what if we'd like to do something like writing a fader to really manually add in our automation and level changes, for instance? Let's go ahead and collapse this for our instrument track. And then let's come to the bottom right corner, click here, and open up our mix console. I think we can close out our inspector for now. I just like to keep things simplified in these tutorials. Now, we can see for our MyTie, and this can be for an audio track, either one of these, or an instrument track, but we'll come to our MyTie, okay? We can see on our channel, auto is set to off, but I can change this by clicking once. We have our different modes, and I'm going to choose latch. So I'll go ahead and click once on that. Let's come back a bit. Now, when I play back, I don't need to enter into record in the transport. I can just grab the fader, and you can see up above in our arrange view, that automation is being written in. Let's press the space bar to stop. So now you can see our MyTie doesn't have any MIDI information playing back, but you can see that the volume lane has been added to the track, and it recorded our automation. And of course, we could right click on this and show hide the automation. We'll take that off to return to the normal view. I can come to the bottom left corner and expand out. And then we have a new volume lane that has been added from writing that fader. Now, after you've recorded your automation and you are satisfied with it, you also may want to come over to the mode here and take this out of latch or whatever you've chosen, touch, and change this back to read so that your automation is then going to be protected and you won't record over the existing automation. Now let's switch over to a new session and we'll take a quick look at a couple of practical examples and wrap up from there. So here I've got a track that starts off with some hi-hats in the very beginning to kind of establish a certain rhythm, but I would like for those hats to take a step back, so to speak, once the other instrumentation comes into play. Now, some people would say, well, why don't you just grab the clips and take their level down? I don't really want to alter the level of my individual clips or audio events once I've established the gain staging at the beginning of my mix, and I also don't want to change if I'm using any nonlinear plugins like saturation. I don't want the sound of those plugins to change because the level of my events changes within the song. So in this instance, I personally would use automation to take the levels down for these versus adjusting the clips. So as you can imagine, this is an audio track, so by default, we're automatically going to have our volume and panning available. So I can click on the bottom left corner, expand those out, and then all I need to do is come to this section where I'd like for them to drop out. Let's go ahead. Now snap is on, so I'm snapping to the 16th note value that's set here. I'll just go ahead, let's come out just a little bit. I'll click once to add a point, and then I'll come to the end of this one a little bit past. Let's click once to add a point here. And let's actually come to the border and expand this out. Now I've only added 2 points, but what I can do is just come to the top and we're going to have the trim tool that appears. So right now we just have the arrow, but as I hover towards the top, we get the trim tool. I can left click, hold, and drag down. And then now the 2 additional points that we need to take this down are coming into play. And if you notice, we have a pop-up menu here that's showing how much we're reducing in dB. Of course, we'll always want to play back and use our ears. I'm just showing the method. But now we can play this back. And then I can adjust this again. The trim tool is active. That's a little bit too low. Okay, so I think you get the idea. Now the other example that we will take a look at, let's go ahead and collapse all of this. And for the vinyl example, we're going to take a look at how we can automate the bypass button on a effect. So we will come to the mix console and we've got a reverb on our effects channel here. So I'd like to have this to bypass at a certain area of the song. Let's come up to our arrange view and let's just zoom out a bit. Maybe say I would like for this section here, beginning around bar 19, through this section to have the reverb go into bypass and be silenced essentially. So let's click once on the header for our reverb, the spark verb here. And then now we can see in the top left corner, there is no parameter listed here, but I can click on the bypass like so. We can see that that is now populated up above. And as we've already seen earlier, we can click on the A, and then that's going to be added to our effects channel, which is showing here, automatically highlighted. And this is just going to either be on or off. And right now our bypass is off. We can tell by this button is not lit up. Also, if I click once to open up our spark verb, we can see that the bypass is not lit here either. Let's go ahead and pin this and see if we can keep this open while we're working. So this is the section. So I'm going to go ahead and position my playback cursor there. Let's go ahead and add a point here. And then we'll add a point here. Again, our snap is on. If you like to really freely place these, turn your snap off. But now that I've added the 2 points, I can again come to the top. Our trim tool becomes active. I can left click, hold, and drag up. Now when I position the playback cursor here, we can see that our bypass is on. And that button that I mentioned a moment ago is now highlighted in blue. If I set our playback cursor here to bar 20, we can see that this updates our bypass is off here and here as well. Now, if I play back, we can see that that enters into bypass and then back off. Now, one final thing that I'd like to mention is that you've seen me add points by clicking and then kind of manually moving those around. But let's come back to our audio track and expand that out. We can also come to the paint tool and activate that and then draw in automation like so. Now this is going to snap to, let's zoom in a bit on this. This is going to snap to, you see these points are snapping to our quantize because that's on. Now if I were to change this to say quarter note and then redraw this in, now you can see how those points are snapping to the quarter note subdivisions. Now we could also right click or left click and hold and change this to be, say, a sine, and we will change the quantize value to say half note, left click and hold, and we can actually draw sine waves in here like so. If you want to get really creative, this is not going to be useful for like acoustic, folk type sort of things, but if you're doing experimental or electronic music, this can be a cool feature to make use of. And again, this sine wave is being drawn in because to this value that we set because our snap is turned on. We can also right click and come to the bottom and activate our transform tool. Then I can come, we have the crosshairs that are active. I can left click, hold. Let's select these automation points and then I can adjust these or transform them like so. Okay, so there's still much more to talk about with automation. We'll maybe take a look at that at a later time. We didn't cover actually adding automation tracks, and we also have a separate type of automation which is going to be based within our particular clips. But hopefully you've seen enough in this video to get started with what you would like to accomplish. And again, if you'd like to work with me directly over Zoom, check out the pinned comment below or description area of this video. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next tutorial.